More than 500,000 people each year have their lives touched by a member of the Baylor healthcare family. You've decided to be a part of that family, and now you too can contribute to keeping our community healthy.
All doctors to ER.
To understand where Baylor is today, we must take a look at Baylor's past. This is the story of people who brought major changes to healthcare by first bringing it to a small city with big ambitions.
The practice of medicine at the beginning of the 20th century was somewhat primitive.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I have here a very valuable remedy. It cures headaches, constipation, and marital problems. Yes, my dear married women, feed your husband this wonderful solution and get the truth. Take care. An overdose will cause him to tell not only everything he has done, but everything he intends to do. This is science's latest discovery.
In these early years, Dallas was a place where hospitals were crowded, unsanitary, and often deadly. Doctors throughout the country could practice for a lifetime without ever having attended medical school. They could get their license by simply filling out a few forms and paying a $15 fee.
It was about this time and under these conditions, when ideas about medicine and public health began to change, that three men of different generations with different backgrounds came together with a common vision about healthcare that would turn the eyes of the nation toward Dallas. One was Charles McDaniel Rosser, the young, outspoken doctor who graduated from the medical college in Louisville, Kentucky.
I have had many sleepless nights. I have seen people suffering from injuries that could have been treated if recognized quickly. Recently, a young schoolgirl got sick. A man who called himself a doctor treated her. When the neighbor lady said, "Doctor, this child has diphtheria. She ought to have antitoxin," he scoffed. When daylight came through the windows of that home, the curly-headed girl had died. The people of our growing city deserved better than this, and I was compelled to do my part, to bring this region a hospital that would serve Dallas and train our doctors and our nurses, to bring humanity and care to the world.
Another visionary was George Washington Truett, known to his peers as the persuasive preacher who understood that the message of the gospel must reach beyond the pulpit.
Reverend Truett was the foremost preacher of his time, who knelt in World War I's muddied trenches to pray with dying men.
The third man was Colonel C.C. Slaughter, the older philanthropic cattleman and a devout Baptist, who, as legend goes, was the very first baby born in the Republic of Texas.
My brother was wealthy, but you know what made him special? He taught everyone in our family to give. That was C.C.'s real legacy. Someone once asked him why he gave his money away, and he answered, "I've prayed the Master to endow me with a hand to get and a heart to give."
In the late spring of 1903, these three men would make history at the Oriental Hotel in Dallas. City leaders gathered to honor the work of the international medical celebrity from Vienna, Austria, Dr. Adolf Lorenz. Known as the Bloodless Surgeon, Dr. Lorenz made a special visit to Dallas at the invitation of Dr. Rosser.
His brilliant and splendid work as a surgeon drew crowds and met every expectation. Hopeless cripples were cured, and the cause of medical science was advanced.
Body is success. Success is recognizing the will of God and trying to do it.
At the hotel that night, the after-dinner speaker was the respected pastor of the First Baptist Church of Dallas, George W. Truett.
With our magnificently growing city and our young, though growing medical school, I dare raise this question. Is it not now time to begin the erection of a great humanitarian hospital, one to which men of all creeds and those of none may come with equal confidence?
Truett, The man about whom it was said you can't say no to him challenged the business and political leaders of Dallas to contribute. Colonel Slaughter was the first, and with his $50,000, the hospital that the city needed was on its way to becoming a reality. Baylor began in 1903 in a converted 14-room house with 25 beds, which was once Dr. Rosser's clinic. The new hospital was named the Texas Baptist Memorial Sanitarium. By 1909, Colonel Slaughter could stand on the balcony of his home and view the new teaching hospital he helped build. One of its first patients was 11-year-old Edith Brown.
On my first afternoon there, I was sitting in the corridor when the hospital superintendent took the time to sit and talk with me for a while. I never felt alone or afraid in the hospital. On Christmas morning, Dr. Truitt gave me a beautiful plant with the card reading, "To Edith, the little girl who is over 300 miles away from home."
The value of innovation in healthcare is measured in lives saved. The events of March 18, 1937, placed a Baylor innovation at the heart of an unspeakable tragedy.
In what is being called the Texas tragedy, 284 secondary school students and 14 teachers lost their lives in a natural gas explosion that has rocked the tiny East Texas town of New London. The loss of life of children just 10 minutes away from the bell that would send them home struck a chord around the world.
More than 100 injured lay in their agony that day until 30 doctors and 100 nurses from Baylor Hospital led the effort to rescue the survivors. And of all the essential items needed to save lives, blood plasma was at the top of the list.
At Baylor, we were struggling to understand blood diseases and disorders. Our team came up with the idea of freeze-drying blood. When it became clear this would work, we knew we were onto something.
Underfunded and desperately in need of materials, Dr. Hill and his colleague David Pfeiffer called on some Texas ingenuity. They recycled the motors from the illegal slot machines confiscated by the Dallas County Sheriff's Department to power the Atovac machine. This invention would save thousands of lives in natural disasters and on the battlefields of World War II.
Following a philosophy that guided Rosser and Baylor from early on, the hospital released the technology as a free gift to science. It was also at Baylor in 1947 that the American Association of Blood Banks was founded.
The stock market crash of 1929 ushered in the Great Depression. People were homeless, hungry, and out of work. It also struck a devastating blow to the nation's hospitals. Most patients were simply too broke to pay their bills. Soon the financial crisis threatened Baylor's very existence.
Hospital administrators developed a way to help the hospital and the people of Dallas with the first prepaid hospital insurance plan in the United States.
When I was ready to go home after 3 weeks in the hospital, I was told that I didn't owe anything. I couldn't believe it. But when they assured me it was true, I was very happy.
By 1946, the Baylor Plan became a national organization, serving more than 90 million people, known today as Blue Cross.
When the decade of the 1930s opened, the vast majority of American babies were born at home. More women had died in childbirth than men had been lost in war.
I graduated as a nurse from Texas Baptist Memorial Sanitarium in 1917. My husband's first wife died in childbirth at home, but I always thought if she had been taken to a hospital to deliver her baby, she may have lived. I worked at Baylor and saw the miracles these physicians performed. So when I had my baby, I insisted on going to Baylor. My husband was concerned that only girls were born at Baylor. He wanted a boy. I had a healthy baby girl.
As they had done so often before, Baylor spearheaded a movement, this time from home births to hospital births.
Baylor took the major step of opening the Florence Nightingale Maternity Hospital in 1937. It was described as the most modern maternity hospital in America and the only air-conditioned building of its kind.
In the first 17 years of serving this community, 80,646 boys and girls can say that they were Baylor babies.
The first afternoon we were on the front lines, I amputated the arms of 7 men. I was feeling really low afterwards. I went on rounds the next day, and all of the men were alive, free of fever, and had normal blood pressure. It was a blessing. They all lived.
Mobilized in 1942 as the 56th Evacuation Hospital, the 400 men and women from Baylor cared for 73,000 soldiers and airmen during some of the bloodiest battles of World War II.
Mary Roberts was a nurse in the Baylor unit and was the first woman in the history of the U.S. Army to receive the Silver Star for bravery.
I was closing sutures on a patient after surgery when the medical tent on the beach of Anzio was bombed. Somehow I managed to complete the suturing and threw my body over the soldier to protect him. We all did what had to be done.
We take pride in the great accomplishments of those who preceded us, and today we carry on the tradition of exemplary patient care, medical education, research, and community service for the young, the old, and the new arrivals.
Now it is your turn to be part of the Baylor legacy.
Welcome to the Baylor family.
nationally only 5% of hospitals are designated as magnet organizations, and then only 2% of those organizations are redesignated, and Bubsy was redesignated in 2009.
We've been recognized by U.S. News & World Report as one of the top rehabilitation hospitals in the country.
Our stroke team received the Silver Award from the American Heart Association for the Get With the Guidelines Met Stroke Measures. We were also recertified by the Joint Commission as a Ventricular Assist Device Center of Excellence, and the Texas Medical Foundation awarded us with the Quality Improvement Achievement Award. We ranked for the 17th consecutive year by the U.S. News & World Report as one of the best hospitals in the nation.
Last year, about this time of year, we were fortunate to receive 3 of the 12 quality awards that were given.
We recently achieved Chest Pain Center accreditation from the Society of Chest Pain Centers. We were selected this year for recognition by the TMF for our improvement work in the heart failure area. Islet cell transplantation is a cutting-edge field in type 1 diabetes that establishes it as a goal to severely limit the variation in blood sugar that typically is a part of type 1 diabetes by literally transplanting islet cells from a donor into a recipient. Baylor All Saints had the first ever islet cell transplant recently. The world leader in this field, Shinichi Matsumoto from Kyoto University in Japan, is working right here in the Baylor healthcare system. Our patients have the opportunity to get the state-of-the-art care and frankly cutting-edge care with respect to research work going on in diabetes. And it may be the case that the ultimate cure for diabetes is found right here in Baylor.
We have a robot in our ICU that is connecting to the intensivist at Baylor University Medical Center. And so 24/7 we are able to beam one of the intensivists at BUMC into our ICU to help our physicians and our staff. And actually we're the first in the entire Metroplex to have this piece of technology in our hospital.
One of the most important things that we've done this year is begin the process of implementing an electronic health record. That puts us in the absolutely best position to minimize human error as we go about the process of administering medications and ensuring the continuity of care.
Everybody documents together on a multidisciplinary record. The great thing about it is everybody can see the patient chart at the same time. We call them WOWs, workstation on wheels. You just pull the WOW up and you can find out everything you want to know about that patient right there. You couldn't take those computers away from the nurses today.
We're very focused on the continued growth of our emergency services. When you think about 50 to 55% of the patients in our hospital today came through the emergency room, the emergency department as a growth strategy becomes very important. We've opened just recently a new dedicated cardiovascular unit. We've just invested in a new interventional radiology suite.
We had a banner year last year. We were budgeted to lose about $1.8 million, and we actually ended up making money for the year. So we beat our budget by over $2 million. We did a lot of marketing efforts in the outlying areas for spinal cord injuries and traumatic brain injuries, which brought a different payer mix to our hospital. In fact, we're probably one of the only hospitals in the system that increased our managed care payer mix and reduced our Medicare payer mix. We actually implemented an operations improvement plan that we saw over the last 5 months of the year that helped improve our bottom line by over $900,000.
We've launched a hyperbarics program and a separate freestanding medical imaging program out in Grand Prairie, both of which will open in the fall of 2009.
The Heart Hospital Baylor Plano just finished a $34 million expansion. We expanded our bed license from 68 beds to well over 116 beds, 2 additional operating rooms, as well as an additional catheterization lab and a electrophysiology suite. Both have the auditorium style built in to allow a conducive environment for training. We just recently formed a hospital management company to align cardiovascular programs through a management services arrangement.
We're focusing on some of our core service lines like orthopedics, OB-GYN. We've got a new wound care clinic going in the next 6 months. Focusing on those core services we've got, we'll be adding upgraded patient rooms and other facilities that will all contribute to the growth of the facility. We're really excited about what Baylor brings as far as development and growth. Our community is growing. We've got growth to the north of us and just here around the hospital. So the consistency of Baylor and the stability of Baylor has already started to show our physician community that they can be part of this delivery system here in Carrollton, and we're starting to see those physicians come back, new physicians join, new patients that just live around the block say this is their first time here. So it's a lot of organic growth right now that's just helping the facility ever since we put the Flame on the building.
Our organization has set up a committee that is called the Revenue Cycle and Compliance Committee. That committee focuses on areas of opportunity as far as our growth as well as our finances. We have been able to save significant amounts of money by managing our product lines as well as the number of vendors that are in our organization.
Texas Health Ventures Group is a joint venture between Baylor Healthcare Systems and United Surgical Partners. It was formed in 1999 with 2 surgery centers on the Bumpsy campus and 3 surgery centers that United Surgical Partners operated here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Since that time, we've grown now to 16 surgery centers, 6 short-stay hospitals, soon to be 7, all across the Metroplex, from Granbury to Rockwall, from Denton down to Arlington.
Lots of growth this year. We're in 122 locations. We have 47 primary care sites. We have 57 specialty care sites. We've developed new operating units in the Health Texas model this year to serve the hospitals that we are in. Those are hospitalist units and pulmonary critical care units. We also have 4 senior centers that serve the hospitals that are in the Baylor healthcare system.
Southwest Fort Worth has enjoyed amazing growth in the past 5 years. In fact, it's grown so much that we've needed to make investments on that campus to assure that we can continue to provide the great service that Baylor is known for in that part of our community.
We opened a pain management center in our Red Oak office. We've also opened a sleep management center here on our main campus. In addition to that, for our bariatric and weight management program, we've recruited Dr. Glenn Eide, and he has been a huge addition to that program and has really helped us serve more people that need those services. And we're predicted over the next 5 years to grow by 17 to 20%. We have purchased 83 acres of land on 287 and 35. Our long-term plan is that we will have a new campus out on that piece of property. We think that with the growth in the community, we certainly could fill up a brand new hospital.
We've had a huge initiative around patient satisfaction over the last year, and we're really pleased about our patient satisfaction scores. Our willingness to recommend for the inpatient scores ended the year at 91.2%, and for our outpatient mean scores, we ended at 94%. We, in the last year, have taken our emergency department from around 30 beds, 34 beds, to 88 beds, and so we've had significant change, lots of hiring of physicians and nurses and other clinical staff, and our patients are telling us that the changes and the environment that they're being cared for in our emergency room is just superior.
Baylor Frisco is in the 2009 Prescanius Summit Award group, which is the top 95th percentile for at least 3 years. Also, Consumer Reports magazine recently came out with top 300 hospitals in Texas. Baylor Frisco was the 10th hospital in the state of Texas, and our Baylor Trophy Club facility was the number 13 hospital in the state of Texas.
Growth of service lines, transplant, cancer, orthopedics, digestive disease, neuroscience, and high-risk pregnancy. In addition, we've been able to start some programs and really support the ones that we have, such as pain management and breast imaging. In addition, we've been able to restructure and be very successful in our rehabilitation service line. Baylor Institute for Rehabilitation's had a very successful year, as well as to restructure and to help organize our Children's House and Baylor Specialty Hospital.
They moved to the 76th percentile in patient satisfaction from numbers around the 16th percentile previously. They're at 76th percentile end of fiscal year, and in 2010 so far we're running in the mid-90th percentiles.
At all levels of our organization, individuals are encouraged to identify and implement improvement techniques to support our vision of achieving excellence in the delivery of quality health care. I'm excited about a new program that we have this year called Pay for Performance. Our physicians will have a total of 10% of their pay dependent upon how they perform in the areas of service and quality. This will lead us to improved patient satisfaction and improved patient quality indicators.
The Heart Hospital was just recently chosen as the 2008 Quality Award winner from the Texas Quality Award from TMF. Our patient satisfaction scores have been over 99th percentile for the last 3 years. We have exceeded the satisfaction scores not only on the inpatient satisfaction, but also emergency department satisfaction and outpatient satisfaction. We've worked very hard to develop a hospital and hotel environment here. This facility doesn't look like a hospital, feel like a hospital, or smell like a hospital. And the patient benefit is positive outcomes, a low threshold of anxiety, and I think from the time they walk through the doors and see our valet and our concierge to our inpatient beds, they feel very confident they are at the right place.
As far as service here at BHBH, we've exceeded our numbers for this past fiscal year and hope to increase those over this next fiscal year. How we plan to do that is through our Standards and Measures Committee, which is part of our shared governance structure. A staff member from each of the units comes to review the organization's accomplishments for the past month, and then they identify any trending opportunities and set up action plans. What we hope to accomplish in there is to continue to increase our patient satisfaction month by month by focusing on different areas of opportunity.
Robin Jacks, who is our concierge, she's phenomenal. She gets here at 4:30 every morning. She memorizes the names of all the surgical patients coming in. So when they enter our facility, she greets them by name, escorts them up to the surgery area or wherever they're having their procedure, checks on the family all day long, checks on the family and the patient post-surgery, has connected with so many of our families. I've gotten so many wonderful letters about her caring attitude and what she does for our families and patients.
Our staff not only serves our patients in our hospitals, but they also serve our patients in our community. Our United Way campaign was extremely successful. We collected over $173,000, and our employee giving had a record-breaking year.
7 of our nurses were chosen as among the best nurses in the Metroplex through the Great 100 Nurses Award.
Great people doing great things.
An example that happened near Christmas of a mother who came in for business and had to deliver a baby prematurely at our hospital in Grapevine. And on Christmas Eve, the family wanted to be reunited at Christmas in their home, celebrate Christmas holidays. And Grapevine didn't have a staff member who could travel with the family on the transport. And so through placement of calls in our system, we're able to find a nurse at Baylor University Medical Center, Sandra Leha, who volunteered her time on Christmas Eve to follow the baby and family and transport back to their home in Oklahoma.
James Cooper is a brain tumor survivor, someone that understands the anxiety and the trepidation that many of our patients feel when they're coming to the hospital. He did, in fact, have one special encounter with a woman who arrived at our hospital with no one accompanying her. And when asked, she told James that she lived alone, was elderly, and didn't have anyone that she could count on to bring her to the hospital or be with her during her surgery. On the day of her operation, her door opened up at 5:30 in the morning, and in walked James. He said, "I am your somebody." And James came in 3 hours early to start his shift and stayed with this patient until her surgery began.
Misty Lorenz, for example, who is a pharmacy technician who in some way managed to befriend the wife of a patient who had been admitted with a stroke. Since this woman was not able to drive or provide her own transportation, Misty ended up giving her a ride home that first day of her husband's admission, and then went on to bring her back and forth to the hospital each day after that. The lady at some point mentioned to Misty that, us older ladies like to have our hair kept. And so, Misty on a Saturday morning took the lady to the beauty shop and then ended up taking her to the grocery store.
Linda works in our Women's Health Service Department, and we had a mother that was expecting a child, and it was evident that the child was going to be stillborn. Linda had been working with this mother to educate the mother and to also provide some grief support for the mother. On the day that the mother was scheduled to deliver, Linda was actually off and not scheduled to work that day. Linda came up here on her own and showed up to be here with that mother the day that she delivered and spent the entire day with her.
Being recognized with the Pathway to Excellence Award has truly been important in setting a new expectation for nursing throughout the hospital. The hospital will be known for its work at the bedside, and the most important piece of that equation is our nursing staff, getting the right people in the right place. Truly then puts us in a position to drive quality outcomes throughout the organization, to move beyond meeting expectations to exceeding those expectations.
I impact patients every day by ensuring that they get the proper results they need so they can get the care that they deserve.
By making sure that as a manager, I provide the resources for my staff to be able to give the best care possible to their patients.
By giving them a warmly smile when they walk in, because I'm the first person they see.
By attracting and retaining the best people for Baylor.
They do have problems, and they want to talk to someone, so you listen.
Keeping the patients informed and really meeting their needs and really just making them want to come back.
By hiring people who care about patients.
I work in health information management, so I do not have the one-on-one with patients as most clinical employees do, but the way I impact patients is trying to provide the best, accurate, and quality care through the documentation that you get. Once the patient has been discharged, then the chart comes to my department, and that is where we make sure that the information is correct in the computer system for the continuing care of the patients.
We support our employees and the business processes on a day-to-day basis. We try to make things as efficient as possible, and also making everyone happy and making sure that we support them in everything they do. And that way they can do their jobs well, and physicians can do well to support our patients.
My job is really training and e-learning specifically, and I feel like if I can give our clinical and non-clinical employees a way to take training that's more effective and efficient, but also instructionally sound, I feel like we can get them back to taking care of patients.
I grew up at Baylor. I was a volunteer here when I was 15 years old, and several of my good family friends are physicians here. And when I came to Baylor, I came back home. Baylor not only helps you grow as a team member or as an employee, but it helps you grow personally, and it's really, important. If you're going to spend 10, 11, 12 hours a day somewhere, then you might as well spend it where someone is going to support you and help you in all of your endeavors.
Well, I've been here 27 years. I had my first kids, all three of my kids here, and I never thought that I would ever be in one place for so long. But basically, I just, love my workers. My coworkers are great, and it makes me want to come back each day just to be a part of the team and help them.
I love working at Baylor. The nurses, all the ancillary personnel, specialists in the different fields are very good to work with, very caring for the patients, have a lot of good input in the care of the patients. I feel very safe with my patients here.
Most of the time patients have concerns about billing issues and concerns about consent forms, so I am available so that when those questions are presented, I'll be able to help them.
The support system on site for patients with questions about their estimate of their procedure, their follow-up billing questions, that first statement they get on their call. I'm pretty much their go-to person on site.
When I make that bed, I keep thinking, I said, now somebody's gonna be stretched out on this bed for whatever reason, and I said, I want them to have a smooth bed to lie on, and I think about myself. I said, if I was in the hospital, I'd want to have a nice, comfortable bed to lie in, and so I keep that in mind every time I make that bed.
If they need something from me, I try to make them feel like they're the only ones that are there and that they're my only patient for that day. And I feel like if you do that for each and every patient, then they're really receiving the type of care that they need to get.
Charm the patient's families, offer them a blanket, a pillow. Do you need something to eat? Do you need something to drink? And just be sure they know that we appreciate them being there for the patients.
I see patients as early as 5:30 in the morning, greeting them with a smile. They're coming in for surgeries, don't know what they're here for sometimes, so we have to react and just keep them in the great spirit.
I go to the ER and I have finger puppets that I take to all the kids down there, just to keep them occupied because, like I said, my family's been in the ER and I know how it is with little kids in there.
Here at Baylor, we provide the state-of-the-art care and do so in a family-friendly environment.
I impact patients every day by providing the best care I can and the best quality that we could give to our patients every day.
My main job is to make sure I have what the patient needs, so surgeries are guaranteed and perfect.
Quality is doing the right thing the first time, and the right thing for the patient is serving them with the best standard of care.
I do quality research to explore new ways to treat our patients and make them feel better, faster, and more efficiently.
I think the quality of care is the highest that we've ever had. It's amazing. I mean, I would love for my own family members to come here, friends. I tell everybody to come here.
I impact patients every day by treating each and every one of my patients like one of my own family members.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
The flame. It is a symbol of life, of knowledge, of inspiration.
Is it not now time to build the great humanitarian hospital, one to which men of all creeds, or those of none, may come with equal confidence?
A century has passed since Dr. George W. Truett was inspired to issue that stirring call to action. His words and his vision created the spark that led to the beginning of Baylor. Over the next 100 years, Baylor has grown as the community's needs have grown. Today, Baylor Healthcare System strives to provide outstanding care throughout North Texas. Of course, the one thing that hasn't changed in 100 years is our commitment to providing great health care. This is the story of people who have been touched by the Baylor spirit, the spirit that will always shine brightly. This is the story of the remarkable people that make Baylor what it is today.
My name is Dana Warren, and I'm the residency coordinator for the Baylor Family Practice Residency at Garland. And in that role, I am the residency mom to 18 resident physicians and 7 faculty physicians. I was diagnosed with breast cancer in February of 1999. I had a very busy life and didn't feel like I had time to be sick. I think the thing that frightened me the most was the chemotherapy treatments. I remember the very first day when I went to my first appointment at the infusion lab. I really expected it to be a sad place. I was really pleasantly surprised when I arrived because patients were sitting in the waiting room laughing and chatting and working puzzles, and it was really an upbeat place. For 6 months, I had 8 treatments, 3 weeks apart. The nurses were wonderful. They made me feel like I was the only patient they were caring for that day, and that how I felt in my life was the most important thing to them. The last day, one of the nurses came by and kind of patted me on the foot and said, "Now, don't rush off after your treatment today. We've got some paperwork we need to take care of." So I finished and I waited to one side, and a nurse came from over here, and then another nurse, and they all gathered around me, and I didn't know what to think, and all of a sudden they began throwing confetti in the air and cheering and congratulating me on finishing my chemotherapy. And I can't tell you how that made me feel, that it was as important to them as it was to me to have reached that milestone in my battle with cancer. That's what Baylor's all about, is caring. And I knew that from an employee's perspective, but when you experience the caring as a patient, it becomes very real. I believe that we here at Baylor are together for one purpose, and that is to help patients experience a better quality of life and to live life longer.
My name is Jennifer Kennedy. I live in Forney. I stay at home with my sons, Hunter and Chandler. Hunter's 5 and Chandler is 1. I went to the doctor for a checkup, and he wasn't moving a lot. They decided to take me over to the hospital and go ahead and induce labor. And when he was born, he had like little red dots on him, petechiae. About 3 weeks into it, did a liver biopsy, and the biopsy showed that his liver was in complete failure. He wouldn't live without a transplant. We heard of an amazing procedure that Baylor offered, a living donor procedure. So we went to talk to Dr. Goldstein, and he told us about the living donor procedure. From an adult to a child, they take the adult's left lobe from their liver, and they take it and they use it for his whole liver. It filtered through, and he's running around just like a normal 1-year-old little boy right now, talking, walking, screaming. Without this procedure, he definitely wouldn't be here with us. So Baylor absolutely was there saving our son's life. It is awesome to know that I got to give him life twice. I was very lucky.
I'm Espinola Pinckney.
I'm Pamela Bowling.
And we work in the Financial Management Treasury Department at Baylor. The reason I became an employee at Baylor was because of the experience that I had as a patient. I was diagnosed with colorectal cancer. And when you hear the word cancer, the first thing that comes to your mind is that you're going to die. I came to Baylor. They transferred me here to Baylor. And they made me feel like I was really one of the most important people at that time at Baylor.
Exactly. I mirror exactly what she said. On the very first day of my vacation I had planned back in 1989, car ran a red light, and I ended up at Baylor. I was thinking it was the end of me, that I probably would die. Met Dr. Foreman, who at the time I didn't know how serious my injuries were, so I just asked this big man if I was going to die. And he just grabbed my hand and said, "Pamela, you're not going anywhere." And I felt it right there that I was going to be okay.
Well, when you're a patient, it's like everybody is there at your beck and call. Whatever you need, they're there to help you. And then when you become an employee, you want to give back. You want to be able to help others the way that you were helped.
You bring a lot to it when you do go over and you see somebody needs a wheelchair or something, and you see one of your coworkers helping them out, and you say, I hope someone asks me someday so I can help, because that's why I want to work here. I want to do those kind of things, help back, give back.
I'm Lisa Lee, and this is my son Palmer. He just turned 2. Palmer, can you say hi? Before we had Palmer, my husband and I had 3 miscarriages. We had about 2 years of testing, and they finally figured out what the trick was. And we were so thrilled because we thought, this time we're there, we've made it. And when we got to 24 weeks, I had complications. I had 4 blood clots in my stomach, and the doctors told us here that they were going to have to take him by emergency C-section that day, not just because his life was in jeopardy, but mine was as well. He weighed only 1 pound 4 ounces when he was born. He literally could fit in the palm of your hand. When Palmer was about 2.5 months old in the hospital, he got a terrible virus and he was really just deathly ill. One day I was standing over his bedside. All of a sudden I felt hands on my shoulders and I turned around and it was Amy and she said, "Mrs. Lee, I just want you to know that I pray for Palmer every night." And it just struck me so, I just couldn't imagine. I thought, here these people are working day and night round the clock to save my little baby and give him a chance at life. And then at night they go home and they remember him in their prayers. Being in the hospital for 143 days, having him be so sick and in intensive care that long, I think the best thing was that we were at Baylor and we knew they were taking such good care of him. We really felt like he was in the best place. Well, the wonderful news is today Palmer is a happy, healthy, active 2-year-old. I'm a support mom for the NICU here at Baylor now, and when they have babies as small as Palmer was or as sick as he was, they'll call me and ask me if I could just kind of be a friend on the phone or a shoulder to cry on for other families that are going through what we went through. It's such a great way for us to give back, just sharing our story with Palmer and encouraging other families. And I think today if I wrote my resume, I'd put that at the top of my resume. That's how important it is to me.
My name is Donna Atwood, and I'm a labor and delivery nurse at Baylor University Medical Center in Dallas. I had a lot of infertility problems. I ran into a little bit of difficulty with some hypertension problems that didn't make it the picture-perfect pregnancy. I can remember walking into labor and delivery and standing at the desk, just scared to death. I was a complete basket case. The nursing staff was absolutely incredible. The nurse, Shannon Denby, came in and basically was my angel. She stayed at my bedside. She supported me. She held my hand. She told me it was okay to cry. It was okay to be emotional. What happened to me at Baylor as a patient is why I became a nurse. Baylor changes lives, and I'm living proof. I quit my job as a paralegal and went back to nursing school. Well, I was in orientation. I'm sitting in the nursing lounge in labor and delivery, and Shannon walked in, and she looked at me and she went, "I know you." And I went, "You're the reason I'm here. I want to be half the nurse she is." My daughter's name is Mackenzie Blaze Atwood. She's 4.5. She says when she grows up, she's going to work at Baylor and be a pediatrician and help babies like Mommy does.
I'm Jerry Carter, chaplain at Baylor Medical Center at Waxahachie. I've been at Baylor Medical Center at Waxahachie for 12 years, and I've been with the Baylor system for 13 years. When I'm with a family that's going through some of the greatest storms in their lives, I have the opportunity to be with them, to offer them compassion and care, and just to help them through those difficult times. I consider myself to be the calm in the eye of the storm that's going on. What makes Baylor unique is the caring, compassionate people who are part of the Baylor family. They're not just here for a paycheck. They're here because they have a sense of mission and a sense of priority on what's happening with patient care. My philosophy is that if I could be with people during their most difficult time and help them through their greatest moment of pain, then I've accomplished something very good for them. Baylor is a caring community of people that I'm very proud to work with.
After 100 years, the Baylor spirit is stronger than ever. It's the remarkable people, from employees to volunteers to physicians to donors and trustees, that will light the way to another 100 years of caring for our community unlike anyone else.
kid, every time I'm pulling out, he's right there. Man, and someone needs to talk to his parents, if they're ever at home. What is up with the traffic today? It's always, every day, this intersection's always crowded. I hate pulling out of here. I need some of these dumb roads. Oh, there's... Oh. Okay, so I'm not even here. Right. Great lady. The princess of parking. Oh, sure. Take the spot. Way to be considerate. Oh. You kidding me? Unbelievable. Oh.
Thank you, ma'am. Have a great day.
It's about time. Let's see, what do I want?
Yeah, could I add a cookie to that order? Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, no problem, only guy in the world. I'm sure you need your cookie. The world, your oyster, and he's serving your cookie.
Thanks, sir. Thank you so much. What can I get for you?
Yeah, I'll have a tall decaf macchiato.
Yeah, sure, no problem. Be $3.85. And it might take a few minutes here. We've got quite a line, obviously, and thanks to your patience.
Great. Yeah, great. Great for me. Winning again. Unbelievable. What? What is... What is that? What in the world? Oh, what? What am I supposed to do? How can I do anything about that? Can I even help with that? I don't.
Your coffee, sir.
Oh. I can't take this anymore. I gotta get out of here.
Hey, watch it.
Sorry, so sorry.
Hey, buddy, come here.
My name is Molly McNeil. I work at our Children's House at Baylor. I'm a speech-language pathologist. I work with children with feeding disorders. We do see a lot of children that don't have the means to receive therapy otherwise. My coworkers and I at OCH have given a lot to the foundation, particularly because we get to see that come back to our patients.
I've had quite a few patients who express an interest in helping the hospital. They want to reach out and give back to the hospital or the community to help other patients.
The people involved in my treatment, from the doctors to the nurses to the techs to the housekeeping, they're all so caring. I'm just grateful to everyone involved. Dr. Lieberman is just one of the finest men I've ever met. Just felt like he deserved a special recognition.
The most successful vaccine to date has been the one with melanoma patients.
I was told that I was stage 4, and as you may know, there is no stage 5. I had 3 to 6 months to live. They said 3 to 6 months, it's now 11 years.
Getting that vaccine changed our lives. It saved Brian's life.
And no question about it.
And kept us going. We wouldn't be here without all the work that's being done here. And it's our responsibility as survivors to pay it forward. We all owe it to each other to reach out and help the next guy, because it could be you, it could be our children, it could be our grandchildren.
I definitely believe that every single act of giving can change the lives of others.
Whether it's one person inspiring another person to give back, or one person being touched by someone else.
You never know what it's going to do to build something or train someone or do research in an area.
Each of us can make a difference in the lives of those around us, or sometimes people we don't even know. We can all do this together.
There's something special about working at Baylor Healthcare System. Maybe it's because Baylor is so committed to its employees and to the communities it serves. Maybe it's because it's a not-for-profit healthcare system. Maybe it's the fact that it's faith-based. But for whatever the reason, when you work at Baylor, you just know you've come to the right place. A place where good people and good things come together. Where quality care is combined with respect and consideration for the patient at every turn. It's all part of the Baylor tradition of compassion and healing. As someone who works in
I love working at Baylor because I love the culture that they have here. This is an organization that is definitely very patient-centered.
I get to be part of the healing process for so many folks from all walks of life and backgrounds, and care for them in a way that gives compassion to them, dignity, and friendship to people in their most difficult times.
I've been in the medical field for 16 years, and all 16 years I've been with Baylor, either at Baylor Grapevine, downtown Baylor, or Baylor Garland now. Our mission is what it's all about. We're here to give the best possible care that we can to our patients in the most compassionate way.
They are dedicated, compassionate, and their quality of care is above reproach. I'm passionate about community service, and I see that in Baylor, and I appreciate their healthcare initiatives, their education and research they give to the community. I love being a part of the team that not only saved my mother's life during her heart attack, but also saved the many lives of others every day.
I was brought up to be a Baylor baby. All of my siblings underneath me have been born at Baylor. My children were born at Baylor. I've lost my mom and my dad at Baylor. My sisters had a liver transplant at Baylor. There is no other hospital to us but Baylor. And the integrity that Baylor carries is a firm belief of mine that I not only want to hold, but I also want to encourage and grow.
I believe in the mission that this hospital is founded on. And the senior leadership of this hospital really provides an environment where you can grow and you can learn.
Yeah, I started at Baylor Grapevine, worked all the way up through, worked at Bumpsy for several years, came here as a supervisor and was promoted to the manager position from within the system. It's been, as other people have said, there's no other place for me to work. I've dealt with other systems and Baylor's the best.
I've had the two best bosses I've ever had in my life.
They do care about their employees, and they show that by keeping us informed through employee forums and also taking our opinions into consideration with the employee surveys.
Baylor provides a really great culture and environment, and there's such an emphasis on work-life balance.
I love being a part of the Baylor team because that's exactly what it is. It's a team. We have get-togethers almost every month where we talk about business-oriented things, of course, but then we give kudos to any employees that we feel like are doing a great job. And it's really nice to get some feedback, and it's gratifying to hear that other people notice what you're doing, not just your patients, but your coworkers.
Everybody is treated the same. No one is little, no one is too big. We all work as a team.
My manager is the great manager, and who I work with, my coworkers are the great people. We always work as a team. Me encanta trabajar para Baylor porque es un ambiente muy profesional. Te vas a sentir como en tu casa.
Not only do we provide really good care to our patients, but we also have really good relationships with each other. We have wonderful teamwork. We work together to get the job done, and we actually enjoy coming to work every day.
We have great staff. Everyone is really friendly, and we have top-notch care.
Everybody is so nice, and I just love to come up here. We just get along, no problem, and I just love Baylor.
I feel like coming to work is hanging out with my friends almost.
It's like a community to me. I like coming to work. I come to work, it's like my second home, and we enjoy every bit of it.
There's an incredible staff here. We're all like a family.
It's just a great company to work for.
I love dealing with my coworkers. Everyone here is so special, and I have great love for all the patients that come in. Every day is a new day, and it's a great day here at Baylor.